charged in these proceedings. So, in connection with the item number 1 of contract ID 25Z00004, I just want to know if the PIAP was already being wired in connection with their performance here as an observer. Secretary. Okay, thank you. Also just want to acknowledge the presence of the consultants, right? Contractors, yeah. This is Philip Govari, sir. Good morning, sir. Claude Bandam. Oh, Pandem. Pandem. Sorry, sir. Sorry. I thought the actor, right? Jan Paul Palataw, sir. Karen Arela. Yeah, if you all from Matier. Matier. Sir Gumari, Matier. Yeah, my friend in Skyway. Yeah, okay. Are you okay with the Skyway? Alat. Wala pa rin. This is Leticia. Leticia, ma'am? Yeah, hi, ma'am. This engineer. And any other, you, please identify yourself. Fraser first. Okay. And from Fraser also. And what's your position, sirs? Huh? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Once again, let's proceed with item number 1. From the Beach Management Cluster, Director Ron de los Reyes, please. Go on, Representative. Okay, Director Maribig Gregorio will do the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the conference for contract for Panglao-Tagbilaran City Offshore Beach Connector project. This is contract ID number 25Z00004. This is located in Panglao Island and Tagbilaran City, Bohol Province. This is to be implemented by UTFO Beach Management Cluster and funded by the from the government of French Republic Official Development Assistance. This contract ID has an approved budget of 7,150,720,812.41 centavos. And this contract has a duration of 36 months. This is the funding allocation from the FY 2025 under the Government Appropriation Act. We had the Government of the Philippines of 126,496,000 pesos. Under fiscal year 2026 National Expenditure Program, from the Government of the Philippines, we have allocated 258,487,000 and a total of 384,983,000. So the objective of the project is to serve as an alternative route to the Jacinto Borja Beach and Ambassador Suarez Beach. In further to improve connectivity between the new Bohol Panglao International Airport and the Tagbilaran Fast Track Terminal, and enhance the intermodal transport between two major terminals. This is the location of the project. It is located in Bohol. This is the layout. The bridge has a length of 1,032.9 meters. The scope of work is the construction of the main bridge through design and build scheme. It has a four-lane main bridge with bicycle and pedestrian lanes on both sides. So this is the content of the bidding document. First is the technical component. For local bidders, You need to submit filter certificate of registration, platinum membership, pickup license and registration in case of joint venture or equivalent for foreign leaders. Statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started with any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract review. And also the statement of leaders SLCC, similar dislocated contract, then the net financial contracting capacity computations, joint venture agreement if applicable, with security in the prescribed form and amount. For the technical component, project requirement, you are required to submit or satisfaction chart of the personnel to be deployed for the procurement project to be. The list of contractors personnel to be assigned to the procurement project to be with their complete qualifications and experience data, including the of the staff, partners or principal officers and valid licenses issued by the Professional Regulatory Commission or PRC, each Filipino for design professionals. List of contractors' major equipment units, which are owned, lease or under purchase agreements, supported by a group of ownership or certification on availability of equipment on the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project. Leaders for the project requirements, leaders preliminary engineering design plan, design and construction methods, environmental and safety management plan, commensurate with the proposed scope of works, the traffic management plan, the value engineering analysis, the omnibus source statement. For the forms included in section 9 of the video documents. For the eligibility requirements, bidding is restricted to the shortlisted French companies or contractors as recommended by the government of French Republic, namely Panglao SAS, WSA, and Presinet. The major category of work is bridges construction, steel, superstructure, with cast in place piles, or BCSCP. And the similar category of work is bridges, the computer steel superstructure, with cast in place piles, or PRESCP. Required pickup contractor's license, category of at least 5.8, size range for roads and bridges of large speed. Okay. For bidders with no design and build projects on its own, it may enter into subcontracting, may design or engineering works for the design portion of the contract. In this case, the SLCC requirement shall be for the civil works contractor, the bidders must have successfully or substantially completed the construction project where the value of bidders' participation exceeds 50% of the ABC, equivalent to 7,150,720,812 and 41 centavos. And SLCC amounting to Philippine peso 3,575,316,406 and 20 centavos adjusted to current prices using the Philippine Statistics Authority Consumer Price Indices. As for this design consultant, the bidder's designer must have successfully or substantially completed a design of the construction project where the value of the bidder's participation exceeds 50% of the ABC for the design, equivalent to Philippine peso 204,290,995 and 44 centavos, and SLCC amounting to Philippine peso of 102,145,497.72, adjusted to current prices using the Philippine Statistics Authority Consumer Price Indices. For the financial component, you are required to submit the following. bid form indicating the lump sum bid prices, which will cover the entire project, covering all design and construction costs, supported by the accomplished a schedule of price activities and sub-activities and bill of quantities. Schedule of price activities and sub-activities. Duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. Quarter and payment schedule as a percentage of the lump sum bid price and the forms included in section 9 of the bidding document. As to the evaluation of bid for the technical component, in order to pass the first step procedure or the technical evaluation, the bidder shall be rated pass in the following: 1. Eligibility criteria. 2. Adherence of preliminary design plans to the required NPSS and degree of details and quantity of personnel to be assigned to the project, which covers suitability of the staff to perform the duties of the particular assignments and general qualification and competence, including education and training of the key staff, and should obtain at least 60 points in part 3 concept of approach and methodology for detailed engineering, design, and construction, with emphasis on the gravity, feasibility, innovativeness, and comprehensiveness of the plan approach, and the quality of interpretation of project problems, risks, and suggested solutions. For the financial component, the financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections or computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The bank shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the EPC. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. As to completeness, no price in the required item non-compliant, indicating a zero or dash free to the government of the Philippines. All prices are due to include all taxes. Bids not addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including where applicable, the bill of quantities shall be considered non-responsive. For the arithmetical corrections, bid prices in figures versus the words reveals. The total price versus the unit price per item, the unit price per item reveals. The total price versus the actual sum of the component items, the actual sum reveals. And the unit cost in detailed estimate versus the unit cost in the bill of quantities, the bill of quantities prevail. If above the approved budget for the contract, automatically non-compliant.
Even trends.
Yes, sir. For the post qualification, the Bids and Awards Committee will verify the following: the legal requirement, the submitted licenses, certificates, permits, not inclusion in the blacklist. For the technical requirements, the key personnel, the minimum work experience requirements should be satisfied. Next is the availability and commitment of major construction bidder to state complete technical description of the best equipment and the specific location, whether own piece or other qualification for award of contract and for future of its bid security per department order number 58 series of 2012. Next is the performance in ongoing government and private contracts. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of the two or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence their work and complete ongoing contracts in the prescribed date after receipt of the notice of defects or deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence their works and contracts with pending certificate of acceptance in prescribed in the prescribed date after the receipt of the notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of works or unsatisfactory performance per contract term and conditions at the time of inspection, and then the authenticity of the bid suitability. For the financial requirement, the bid price proposal, the computation of net financial contracting capacity. For the key personnel, for the construction or civil work activities, one project manager with 12 years total experience, 8 years similar work experience. Project one, project engineer, 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Similar works or experiences in same position with long span bridges like cable stay suspension, exodos and or other similar bridges. For bridge engineer, superstructure one with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Bridge engineer for substructure one, 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Similar works are experiences in civil position in bridges with work binding works. One marine engineer with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. One materials or quality control engineer with 8 years total experience.
Excuse me. I just want to clarify with your conditions. I think ang project manager, applicable to yung number one. Project engineer, project engineer, ano ba yun? May tatlong asterisk.
So yung tatlong asterisk in Filipino.
Yeah, you can.
Filipino.
So yung pang-discuss mo.
Okay. For project engineer, one project engineer, if it is a Filipino, it should be accredited project engineer 2 of the DPWH per Department Order number 148 series of 2024. For foreign, it must have a 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. These are the similar works or experiences in same position with long span bridges like cable stay, suspension, exodos, and or other similar bridges. For bridge engineer, substructure, 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Similar works are experiences in same position in bridges with work binding works. One marine engineer with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. For materials quality control engineer, if it is a Filipino, we must be a accredited materials engineer 2 per of the DPWH per department order. And we pre-foreign 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. One genetic engineer with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works.
Excuse me, bumalik pa naman. Pakibalik na. Itong marine materials sa geodetic, similar works ang sabi natin, wala doon sa 1 and 2, ano ba siya? Kasi wala siyang subs. Wala siyang number na katulad ng team, similar 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 2. Itong remaining 3, marine materials, anong similar ang meaning?
Any bridge projects, sir.
Walang nakalagay dyan.
Kasi ano na natin sa
Please inform, no? Just for you guys. In the project manager, we have a condition in the similar work experience. That's number one, similar works in cable stay. In the project engineer, the same, the 5 years. In the bridge engineer, in the superstructure, the same, adapting the number one with the similar. But in the bridge engineer, for the substructure, going to adapt the condition in the number 2, that the experience in position bridge with port piping works. Na? And then, on the remaining three positions, the marine, materials, and quality control, and the jetty, thus, they're going to make an add-on the condition what kind of similar work experience they're requiring to. Okay? Maybe, yeah, we're going to put that and add it in the main bulletin. Okay? Okay, thank you.
One professional electrical engineer with 8 years total experience, 5 years experience in similar works. One traffic engineer with 8 years total experience, 5 years experience in similar work. Similarly with highway engineer. One safety engineer with 5 years total experience and 3 years experience in similar works. For safety engineer, the similar works are experiences in safe position with low span bridges like cable stay, suspension, exodus, and or other similar bridges. For the one environmental specialist, 5 years total experience and 3 years similar experience. 141 for substructure with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. These are the experiences in safe position with those span bridges like cable state, suspension, extra dose, and or other similar bridges. 141 for substructure with 8 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Similar works are experiences in same position in bridges with wood piling works. Next. For the detailed engineering design activities, we need one team leader with 10 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. The similar works are experiences in same position with low span bridges like cable stay, suspension, exodus, and or other similar bridges. For bridge design engineer, superstructure, 7 years total experience and 5 years experience in similar works. Bridge design engineer for substructure, 7 years total experience and 5 years similar works. Senior geologist, 7 years total experience and 5 years in similar works. Similarly with senior bridge architect. One hydraulic drainage engineer with 5 years total experience and 3 years in similar works. One geodetic engineer with 5 years total experience and 3 years in similar works. The similar works are experiences in same position with highway and bridge design as applicable to the position. One geodetic engineer with 5 years total experience and 3 years similar works. One geologist with 5 years total experience, 3 years similar works. Similar with quantity and cost engineer. One highway design engineer with 5 years total experience and 3 years in similar works. The similar works are experiences in same position in highway and bridge design as applicable to the position. One electrical engineer with 5 years total experience and 2 years experience in similar works. Similar with the environmental specialist, GIS specialist, guide specialist, and specification writers. For the detailed engineering design activities, we are required to 17 position of personnel. For the equipment requirement, as indicated in the bidding document, 3 units of backhoe with 0.80 cubic meter capacity or 1.05 cubic yard capacity and 99 horsepower. 1 unit crane works with 300 tons capacity. 3 units cargo truck with 9 to 10 metric tons capacity, 270 horsepower, 2 to 5 metric tons. 1 unit towing pump, 1 unit roller blade, 21 to 25 metric tons capacity, 1 unit roller plane, 41 to 45 metric tons capacity, 1 unit deck bars with 600 metric tons DW, 5 units dump truck, 3 units payloader, weighing 1.5 cubic meters capacity or 110 horsepower. 1 unit pneumatic tire roller with 10 metric tons capacity, 1 SU jack machine, 3 units plastic mixer with 5 to 6 cubic yard capacity and 175 horsepower. 1 unit truck mounted crane with 41 to 45 metric tons capacity. 2 units tugboat with 500 horsepower capacity. 1 unit mounter with 120 kilonewton per meter and 222 horsepower. 2 units water truck, all makes 16,000 liters capacity and 360 horsepower, and a total of 30 units of equipment. Subcontracting is allowed. Maximum of 50% of the contract cost may be allowed for subcontracting. However, subcontracting of any portion shall not relieve the bidder from any liability or obligation that may arise from the contract or this project. And the contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest.
Yeah, excuse me. Excuse me, the question and answer will take place after the presentation. Yeah, after the presentation, thank you.
That values the arrival of our chairman and
Ano galing
the contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest applicable and responsibility or LCRB as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. The successful bidder shall be notified through the issuance of notice of award within the bid validity. Please be reminded of the following dates. The deadline for submission of clarification is November 2, 2025. Please email your clarification to the following email addresses: candas.ador@ptcobc.co.ph, gregorio.ma_victoria@ptcobc.co.ph for procurement@ptcobc.co.ph. The submission, receipt, and opening of bids is on December 2, 2025, 10:00 p.m. in Jibulan. Number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original and 3 duplicate copies, and 1 PDF copy of the original bid in flash drive. Then the place of submission of bid proposal is at the PTCOBC or the Circle Office, Bonifacio Drive, Fort Fairdown, Manila. So that's all for Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director. And we are now ready to close. Question. You, the name and your affiliation.
President. Is somebody considered to be part of subcontracting?
No, the contractor can have as many suppliers, no? But a supplier is not considered as a subcontractor.
We purchase specific items from a supplier,
Yeah.
is not part of the subcontract.
Yeah. Just supplying materials, not necessarily doing a certain scope of work. Otherwise, that will be subcontract.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. 31 pala out for Manila. We have some clarifications from the bid periods. So as I stated in the windows, the periods used is 50 pesos. Is it possible that bids and awards will be considered a bid in euros?
Can you go back to that item where we specify the currency?
Yeah, considering also that the loan is also being paid in euros.
In euros.
Was this a requirement of the lending institution or director residence? Will you please give us some time to check? We'll get back to that. Will you just check with the, if it's a requirement of the lending institution, then we would not just change it. But we're checking on the documents, if indeed that was a requirement.
I don't know if I can give an information, so believe, similar, not similar contract, but it's not the same with the OTR. We only a loan, French loan, has been agreed to be in euro. And then all the price are converted into pesos, from the date of the feasibility study. So the rate is fixed, you see the rate is changing every day now.
Yeah.
It's
That's
catastrophic.
why I think we will be giving you the period by which we will base our exchange rate. Yeah. The date, yeah, that's convenient. Yeah, well, that's nothing you can say requirement. Can you read that? As it's here in my phone.
Anyway, we will formalize black and white, because we have 2 days to give the comment.
It's part of the bid documents unless otherwise provided. So what will justify it? So if for purposes of bid evaluation, bids denominated in foreign currency shall be converted to Philippine currency based on the exchange rate as published by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Daily Reference Exchange Rate Bulletin on the day of the bidding. So if you submit a bid in dollars or in euros, we will just convert it based on the reference exchange rate bulletin of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas on the date of opening of the bids. So you could submit in euros, but we'll still convert it to pesos.
The approved budget, which is 70.1 billion, was approved by NEA, way back in 2024. So the conversion rate at that time was defined. But so we were thinking if the conversion rate back then was what would be the basis for.
It's very clear in the bidding documents that the rate will be based on the rate published by the Bangko Sentral on the day of the bid opening. I understand, but because the complexity here or the peculiarity is, while it's a loan, a French loan, we are using the local procurement law. Because that's what the lending institution, that was the agreement. No? And because we're using the local procurement law, you could not bid above the agency estimate or the APs. Unlike when you're using the guidelines of the foreign funding institutions, you could do that. But this time, it was dictated by the lending institution that we will be using the local procurement.
Sir, one more question. With regards to the contract duration, stated in the bid documents that the intended completion date will be January 2020. So instead of a specific date, can we have a duration?
It's 36 months,
Starting
starting from the LTP, issuance of the LTP. And then of course, this will be subject to some variations dependent on the situations.
So, sir, they're requesting if instead of the duration will start instead of the NPP from the payment of the down payment. Considering that,
No,
we will need the down payment for their.
because we're using the local procurement law, we usually come or recon it from the date of the issuance of the NTP. But again, these are just what's that? These are just estimates which can change based on the conditions. For example, there will be a typhoon or there will be some dynamics in the site or which could actually prolong or shorten the duration. If you will be working on a 24/7, you will be shortening the duration. But again, you could request for time extension. But that will be dependent on the assessment of the implementing officer.
In fact, there is a big issue because imagine the loan is not approved between the Philippines and France. Then there is no loan. Then we cannot start. If there is no.
It's not because it's not approved, but it's the model they're following here is just like China. So they will only approve the amount once we already have the contract amount. Unlike like the other lending institutions, you already have that loan. But for this project, the lending institutions wants the contract amount to be the basis for the loan. That's why we have to bid it out first. But in principle, the loan is already approved. It's just the amount. It's the same with the Chinese model.
By the way. We never introduced revision of that before, after the perfect of the law. And after the perfect of the law. And basically, the data we should have done this for us to make complex. So, just clarify, that the notice to receive be issued prior to the approval of it. Because it might possibly come into part of that the notice to receive is already issued without the loan approval yet. It might be counted for in our.
If ever that will be the situation, we could always suspend. We could toll. So your account will not start. For example, the loan is yet to be approved after the contract is already established, the amount of the contract is already established. Then we could suspend that duration para may toll.
This depends on the activity. And then I mean, this case, the rest of the point of the schedule is an issue of subsidy. Yeah, and perfection of the contract dependent on the approval of the road. And then by issuance of the schedule will follow. So the schedule is not contract. It's different like what other projects the document is quite different. Others have to loan first before the project returns.
So kasi before you approve the contract, there will already be the CAF, yung certificate of availability of fund. So we could not sign the contract unless there is that fund. So we cannot issue the LTP without the fund.
Okay, it's a just clarification because we all understand that if there is no budget, how on that? Yes.
It's questions from the other.
The list of equipment of personnel that you have shown
Can we go back to that slide?
to be specifically owned or hired, or can be
Own or lease?
be
Own or lease.
what about the personnel, can it be subcontractor or design of it or design?
But in here, subcontracting is not allowed. It's allowed. So it's allowed. a maximum of 50% of the scope of work.
Can we go to the list of personalities that are requirement? For example, this is easy, but the one with the environmental requirements and you go to
Next slide.
Environmental specialist, for example, the traffic engineer, highway engineer, can this be from a subcontractor that is identified and selected?
You need to have an agreement with that personnel that he will be employed with you for the duration of the contract. For example, for electrical engineer, for the duration of the contract where there are electrical work that would be needed, he should be employed.
But if we hire on this company.
That's between you and that professional. As long as he's dedicated to the project. You cannot, for example, he's working with Alan at the same time working with you. So it should be a dedicated personnel for the project. Yeah, so supported by certification, supported by an agreement between you and.
Okay. Is there an extension of time possible?
Well, that will be dependent on when the implementation starts. Because we're just here as the procurement.
Extension of the lead time.
Do you still need?
People get for the subdivision.
There's no. Well, if there is a request from at least 50% of the prospective bidders, we might consider. I'm giving you a tip already, but if there is no justifiable ground for us to extend, there should be justifiable ground. We haven't started yet, already thinking of extending. Okay.
With regards to the submission of clarification comments, November 22 is the Saturday to the Can we send it to?
Well, the next working day. 22 nga pala is Saturday. So the next working day. 24. Pwede?
Yes.
Okay. Saturday kasi yan.
24.
The next working day. Although 24. Daming tawad ah.
Sir, regarding the down payment, is there a schedule of the release of the down payment?
As long as we issue the notice to proceed, 15%. Advance payment, yeah. As long as the LPP is issued, you already request for down payment. For advance payment. Are you talking of the advance payment?
The down payments.
Yeah.
The
payment, you're talking about the advance payment.
Advance payment. As long as the LPP is issued, you could already request a maximum of 15% of the contract cost.
It's written here, there's two installments.
7.5 because we're just we just want to be assured that the equipment requirements are realized. The equipment requirements. For example,
Upon issuance of the notice to proceed, the contractor is allowed for an application to collect the advance payment, by which this advance payment total into 15% in two partials, 7.5, 7.5. In a matter of collecting the first partial, what our field engineers will do is to have a certification that the first set of the necessary equipment are mobilized at site. Only the necessary, not all minimum equipment requirements. Only necessary equipment if ever. So collect the whole.
But in fact, in that project, we are supposed to start by 2 points. First, geotech investigation, design,
Yes.
and then supply of steel. Supply of steel, as you have a steel beam and steel structure for the cable stay bridge. It's a huge amount. So meaning if it's 7.5 and you wait for the equipment.
Yeah.
That will be
Sorry, this is the design and build. Sorry, I mean, So this is a design and build procurement. So the first partial advance payment will be on the design component. Remember, this is a design and build. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Diba? So we could refer to the Republic Act 12009. You could just check, if there are clarifications na hindi natin, which we cannot answer today, can we refer to the annex, or annex provided in 12009 regarding advance payments? Can you flash that on the screen? Basta the maximum advance payment is 15% of whatever your contract amounts. Subject to the submission of requirements like, I think, surety bonds. Any more questions? Yeah,
Regarding progress billing. Regarding progress billing.
progress billing.
Are we allowed to submit progress billing even before the 21st?
No, I think it's after obtaining a 20% accomplishment. Because you already have 15. Yeah.
I think for the approval of the design, they could request the meetings of the design by part. And also the engineer work very well. We need to approve
Ito, item 9.4, the first progress payment may be paid by the procuring entity to the contractor, provided at least 20% of the works has been accomplished as certified by the procuring entity.
Sir, just to clarify yung sinabi ni engineer. I think sir yung design could be built after the approval of the design. After the approval of the design.
Yeah,
But the 20% is for the civil works accomplishments.
yes. You're the one who will certify. He's, by the way, the director of the implementing office.
If I may understand, sorry, if I am asking again the question, sorry. The supplier of steel, for instance, the factory, can be included in the when because we have to buy the steel. This project is mainly steel aside from the foundation. So in fact, the supply of steel is quite massive and far more than 20%. So in fact, when we buy the steel, it's represent more than 20%. We can send the progress.
Can you refer to the DO which kasi parang ito materials pero hindi in place. Dapat in place. It should be in place. Should be in place. For example, you will be using the steel for a certain item, it should be in place. Yes. Yes. Works accomplished, not materials supplied. Because we're talking of a civil works contract here. It's not a supply of materials. That's why we're already giving you a 15% advance payment.
We will buy.
Anyway, whatever clarifications you still have in mind and which we haven't responded to, you can always submit them on or before November 24 through the email address. Do not use Carlos Ador, just use the Gregorio Maria Victoria. She's more adept to reading emails than me. Okay? And then schedule of opening is December 2, unless there is a justifiable ground for us to extend. We really want this project to proceed already. That's why we're hoping we could, yeah. The responses to your queries will be posted on a bid our website through a bid bulletin. Including the field depths. Yeah, all the questions that have been asked here will form part of that bid bulletin. So for you to be reminded on. Any more?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. But
I didn't get your question.
how many people, how many people respond to all it will be like?
I think there are only three, right? At least 1.5. Two, because you're three, mature. So I think you're only three, because these are shortlisted by the French lending institution. So, but I think you have enough time.
Free to respond or free to qualify?
No. For you to request for a time extension, at least two. Okay, so any more questions? Again, you still have until Monday, November 24, for some clarifications, and our answers to that will be posted through our website to a bulletin. Thank you very much for attending. Good morning to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.